Are you a fan of the Carpenters? Are you a fan of songs being covered? Are you a fan of 90s alternative rock? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then this video is definitely for you. So let's get into it. Hi guys, Randy here from the Vinyl Junkie Podcast, and today I wanted to try something different and start a new series called In My Record Collection, where I pull a release out of my collection and do a little show and tell to share some facts and other fun things about the vinyl. But before we start, please hit that like and subscribe button to see more content like this. We're a fairly new channel, so every single like and subscribe would definitely help. Thank you. So, one of the amazing things about music lovers in this modern age of streaming is that the younger generation has this entire library of music to draw inspiration from. I'm constantly seeing and hearing about how kids these days are consuming music, not only from popular modern day artists, but they are discovering on their own many iconic artists from the past, not necessarily being influenced by their parents or the radio, but just kind of discovering it on their own, which is amazing. So, for the first entry into this series, I want to share an album that is near and dear to me from my youth, which drew inspiration from my childhood. And that album was released almost 30 years ago on September 13th, 1994. Paid tribute to a sibling duo that made their debut 25 years before that in 1969 on their album Offering, and that duo was the Carpenters. And the tribute album I'm showcasing today is called If I Was a Carpenter. So the album features 14 tracks from various alt indie rock acts from the 90s, such as Dishwalla, The Cranberries, Matthew Sweet, Four Non Blondes, Babes in Toyland, Sheryl Crow, many more. At the time, I was a huge Cranberries fan, so I immediately picked up the album on CD when it was first released. And of course, being super fanatic, I tracked down a copy of this massive tribute on vinyl that you see here. But before we crack this box open and take a look at the goodies inside, I want to take you back to how this project even began and came to be. So if you lived through the 90s, you may have recalled numerous tribute albums being released at the time. And If I Was a Carpenter was on the forefront of that wave. It started with two longtime friends, Matt Wallace and Dave Conjoyan, in the 1970s. Now imagine them meeting in their high school phys ed class and becoming friends after bonding over singing Carpenter songs in the locker room one day. I just can't imagine what that would have been like. But fast forward 20 years to the early 90s, and both of these blokes ended up working in the music industry. Matt was a record producer, and Dave was a music journalist. Their love of the Carpenters brought them together again when Dave brought up the tribute idea to Matt, who had been working with some A&M artists at the time. So the idea was pitched to the label, and it got the green light to go ahead on the project, which is amazing. What happened next was pure magic as the duo targeted an array of alternative indie rock acts of the time, often coming to the project with their own appreciation for Carpenter's music. So when this first came out, it came out on cassette, CD, and vinyl. But not vinyl in the way that you would expect. Now, you have to remember, this is the almost mid-90s. Vinyl was not a huge thing anymore, but they did do a special pressing where it was a vinyl box set of 7-inch singles. So here you see the cover with Richard and Karen on the front, and with a little record player playing different records. Kind of like an interesting cover. You can see it there. Um, I don't know what to make of it with their extra big bulgy eyes, but there you have it. So when you open this up, there are 7 discs inside. Each of them are all packaged in these inserts that have Karen on one side and Richard on the other, showing off various faces from their career. The great thing about this, you would think that the Carpenters and alt rock are two things that you wouldn't imagine being put together. The juxtaposition of it all is quite magical, actually. And the fact, I think, that the project was headed by two lovers of the Carpenters, and they brought together musicians and artists that also had a deep appreciation for the Carpenters. We ended up with this fantastic album, which has an eclectic array of covers from the Carpenters. 14 covers in total. Most people would probably recognize the Sonic Youth cover of Superstar, which ended up on the Juno soundtrack in the early 2000s. But there are, some big names on here as well. The Cranberries did a cover of Close to You. They Long to Be Close to You, which is more close to the original, whereas the Sonic Youth cover of Superstar was quite different. But each artist definitely brought their own kind of magic to each track, and this is definitely something I think you should check out. If not on vinyl, then perhaps on Spotify or on YouTube or any of those channels wherever you stream music. All right. Hope you enjoyed this episode of In My Record Collection. And I think I've been holding this upside down. There we go. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of In My Record Collection. My name is Rainey. Please like and subscribe, and share this video with a friend, and we'll see you soon. Bye.